Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching this. Whenever you are watching, wherever you're watching from, I'm pretty sure there is something that invited you or almost pulled you towards. I have two puppies who are just as excited as you guys are to jump into this session about money mindset and the importance of having a really good mindset around money generation, around wealth as an entrepreneur, as someone who's starting their own business, and why, we'll get into why it is important, what you can do about it, and how to kind of create systems and work on the amazingness. Honestly, we didn't prepare much. I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time. Money is Cindy's expertise zone of genius almost, and I'm someone who helps people go from being burnt out to a place where they're thriving. And money, oftentimes for freelancers, for entrepreneurs who are just starting out, is a very stressful kind of aspect of their business. Where are we going to get money from? Are we even worth it? There are a lot of negative thoughts and limiting beliefs that overpower us when we are trying to empower ourselves. So I'll get into that, which is my zone of expertise, and then we will have Cyndi honestly go and share her magic about all this amazing stuff that we are here for. That was a lengthy introduction. But yeah, so excited. Cindy, do you want to say anything before we jump into whatever we didn't plan, honestly? But do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I'm just really excited to be here. And like she shared, I am a financial strategy coach. So I basically, help people to understand about money, their money mindset, and how to navigate empowering themselves through their finances. It usually is a scary topic for a lot of people, but the goal is to really make money simple so that you can feel empowered to take charge of your money.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And honestly, because I work with a lot of people who are freelancers and I work with people who mentor freelancers, almost all of them have said that not having a good mindset around money is something that always screws them up, right? They are not in the right mindset. We all want our business to succeed, but this is something that I've seen for a lot of people, including myself. So, like, I'm not excluding myself from this. I was there where I would self sabotage because I was scared of the money that I might make, right? So, it probably set off my business backwards by a lot with how I was self sabotaging. And I was just like, almost subconsciously trying to make projects fail because I was scared of the money that would come in to my kind of realm that I'm creating, into the empire that I'm creating. So I wanted to ask you, is this a common fear amongst people you have seen in your kind of world where you coach people?
Yeah, so it's very common to experience the fear of making money because one, we either grew up with the ideal that we just needed to make enough money just to survive
Yeah.
and not thrive. And so I try and help people kind of navigate through that, mostly because, when you think about it and you flip the script from I don't need more than I need to survive to if I make more and I thrive, I can actually bless others with what I do. That right there, when you start shifting that and thinking of creating the abundance through money, so you can bless other people that maybe are struggling or having a hard time, or family or charities that you want to support. That is where you can make a huge difference, and money becomes this tool that you can use for good and helping others. And I think that's such a big shift, when we start thinking about that, because if you look at a lot of people of wealth, especially very grounded people of wealth, they are constantly giving back. They're constantly sharing wealth. They're constantly, giving to charities and things like that. And that's what we want to kind of shift our mindset from, because we're so stuck in that survival mode that we need to figure out how to get to the thrive mode.
Yeah, I love that, honestly, because with the people that I work, oftentimes they are very, like, they acknowledge the fact that they're under stress, they're under this immense feeling of pressure, and that they could be doing better. But they're like, Yeah, but we are surviving. So I don't see any point to change. But I'm like, you're not here to survive. You're here to thrive. Like our entire intention is to live life to its fullest and experience it to its fullest. Why bother staying stuck inside a mold? And I know the answer to that as well, because it's comfortable, right? And I'll just say something around this, right? Like there are a lot of idioms, a lot of metaphors that almost paint money as evil, right? Like we, from a very young age, we were like, don't try to achieve more than what you can maintain. While that is a very wise idiom, no one explains it that if you can't maintain it, get help so that they can help you maintain it, right? So you're not only serving yourself, you're also serving others. A lot of times people think that if I make money, I have to give money away, and I'm not comfortable doing that, so I won't make enough money. Or I don't know, there are a lot of
Yeah.
negative concepts around it. But the most important thing that I have seen happen a lot of times is painting money as evil, right? And it's almost the subconscious. Again, I feel like a lot of money mindset work is subconscious, because everyone's like, I want to be wealthy, I want to be rich, but it is not happening. So why is it not happening? Because there are a lot of subconscious thought processes that's like, don't try to earn more than you can handle, don't try to do this, too much of this, too much of money is evil. Because no one ever explains it how you can handle that money. Everyone always keeps talking about how making too much of money is bad, right? But why is it bad? Is It depends on the person, right? At the end of the day, it depends on the person on how they are utilizing their money. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that with the people you work, do you see them painting money as this evil thing that we shouldn't try to kind of gain too much of, like just enough to survive and not enough to thrive?
Yeah, so I hear that often. And, no matter what your religious background is or where you come
Mm,
from, there's always some sort of saying in your country, in your religion, or, spiritual sayings of things that where people have taken the context and have stated that, money is evil. Well,
mm,
when you really back it up from that and really think about it in the true sense, money doesn't have a conscience. Money can't tell you anything. Money is
yeah.
only a tool, it's a resource. What makes something good or bad is our choices as humans to say money is good or bad. And it's what we do with it and the actions we take. And so when we
Yeah.
stop calling money evil,
Mm,
then we remove any type of power that money supposedly had. And really, it comes down to your choice. If you want to do good with your money, you want to bless your family, bless yourself, bless your spouse, whoever that is, you're doing good with money. If you want to do things that are evil, then you've
mm,
created an evil situation. But
yeah.
really, I think most people have good intentions with what they want to do with money. So when you kind of strip that away and really think
Mm,
of money as a tool or a resource for you to improve your life, improve other people's lives, and
mm,
the services you provide or the product you provide to someone is really something to enhance their life, then what
mm,
you're doing to earn your money or grow your money or build your money is of good intention.
mm.
And that's really what I love to try and help people understand, is that just money doesn't have a conscience. It is
Yes.
only a tool or a resource for us to use.
Yeah, I love that. Honestly, I do, because I mean, it's just this belief, like, and you said it perfectly. Money is, at the very end of the day, it's a resource, it's an energy, right? It's just something that we utilize right now to get more services, to enjoy or buy products, to enjoy life. I'm gonna put it at that, right? Because earlier, when there was no money, we used to do barter. We
Mhm.
would be like, if
$100%.
I need this and you need this, let's just exchange services, let's just exchange products. Money became just a tool that helped us do that in a way where no one was cheated off of it, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, money has gained this very negative connotation again of it being evil. And while us talking about this and discussing this is very powerful in and of itself, I feel like there are still a lot of things that you need to do. Like, this is just the basic awareness. This is just to make you go, oh, let me stop and think about this. But it isn't really the entirety of the situation, because this one workshop that you're attending, while you're attending it right now, you might lose the essence, the motivation, the energy of it after you stop watching it, right? So that is where mindset work comes into place. Is a mindset is all about the awareness that you have, converting it into actionable steps that you can take to make sure that you stop thinking of one particular thing as limiting, one particular thing as being this bad, big bad evil thing. So what are some steps that you can take? Because I can speak from personal experience, but I would like you to go first this time, and then talk about my own experience with money and what I have done for literally 2 years since I decided to become an entrepreneur, to kind of like let go of that belief system of money is evil. I should not be making more than necessary almost. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that, I believe that you really have to discover to really start your work for mindset is you have to start at the root of where your money story came from. Why do you do what you do when it comes to money? And the first place to start is checking
Mm,
in with yourself on what are your earliest memories of
mm,
money? How did your family discuss it, not discuss it? How did
mm,
they spend money? How did they not spend money? And really look at what exactly took place in your childhood and how have you carried that into adulthood. When you start to kind of break down what actually occurred and what you are doing now, this is when you start to create awareness for yourself. And
mm,
awareness is part of it's probably the biggest piece of the puzzle when it comes to mindset, is really
mm,
creating that awareness. So when it comes up or that limiting belief pops back in for you, you could go, okay, pause. Why is this happening? What is going on? What is triggering this for me? And how
mm,
can I just shift just slightly to change my thought process on that? You don't
yeah,
have to make ginormous shifts to shift your mindset. It can be
yeah,
very, very small things. So just for example, if you are somebody that goes shopping when you are sad, what is triggering you to be sad and why are you going to go shopping to basically remedy how you're feeling. Start looking at those steps that are going in place. And can you do a different action when you're feeling sad versus doing that? Or if you are somebody that does need to go shopping, can you scale it down? So that way,
mm,
when you do that shopping and then you have that moment of, oh, I just spent all that money. Now you can go, okay, well, I didn't spend a whole lot. So now
mm,
I'm backtracking myself down to a level I feel good about, even though I'm
mm,
still in that land of habit, but I'm
mm,
not as big of a habit as I was before. So really just creating that awareness from your money story to what you're
mm.
doing now, and then just creating that awareness is probably the biggest key to starting to shift it.
Yeah, I love that a lot, because honestly, that was, I feel like understanding your money story is very, very important, because money is a subconscious thing, right? Again, it's the fear of money is very subconscious, and we react to it based on what we have experienced in our life. So, for example, for me, I have always seen money problems in the way that we always had enough, right? We always had enough. And that was the thing that I kept telling myself, I just need to make enough. That's it. Just enough, not more than that, just enough. And the thing is, when I started to get into the coaching world, it was like, oh, I have to charge $2,000 for it. And honestly, I'll speak from the very first experience that I had. $2,000, when you convert it into Indian currency, it's a lot. I'm not kidding. It's like 1.5, yeah, 1,50,000, 1,80,000, something around that range almost. And that's a lot of money. And for someone who has only earned 10,000 rupees as her first salary or something like that, 1.5 is a huge, huge change. I was like, oh, that's too much. I can't charge that much. I need to lessen down my price. Like, I could never. How could I? How dare I? all these things came up for me, and I was like, hold on a minute, where is this coming up from? Because I had coaches, I had mentors tell me that the work you're doing is really important, and you should be
Mhm.
charging way more than this. You should be charging like $4,000. Or one of my coaches, I remember, and I'll speak about this as well. Like, I remember one of my mentors told me that, you should be charging less. You shouldn't be charging 1,500, $1,500 for your coaching program. You should be charging way less, because I don't think many people will pay for it. And my coach dismantled that belief system. Like, that was a reflection of her, not
Yes,
you.
100%.
Right. And I was like, I hear you, but that reflection resonated with me, because that was a belief system that I had of myself. Right. And he was like, if that was one proof for you, and we will get into all of the proof and reprogramming and programming aspect of money mindset, but if that was a proof for you, then here's a proof that I want to present to you. I am someone who suffers with stress, who suffers with burnout, and I would pay you $10,000 right now to help, to ask you to help me move through this, as you are someone who has experienced it and has that knowledge to take people through it. I would pay you $10,000. And it's like, hold on, what? This is 10 times more than what was being offered to me, and 10 times more than what I was offering, and I was told that I couldn't charge that much. So honestly, it was like, you will, when you are working with your money stories, when you realize where your money issues come from. For me, it was very much generational. Like, I
Mm.
had seen this happen through generations, and we carry that in our body subconsciously, that we are not supposed to charge more than we require. um this is all programming, right? This is how we are programmed by society. Again, the money is evil. This thing has been spread so much that we start to believe it as a fact, rather than as someone just saying this for what it is. So we have a lot of things that program us into believing that we can't charge more, we can't expect to earn more, we can't expect to live in luxury. We should always be, like, subdued, and not try to earn too much, and not try to do all this. But if you're trying to move out of it, and you have to, as someone who's starting out their business right now, you have to think about whether what you're earning is actually nurturing your company, if it is nurturing, as in nurturing your business, if it is nurturing you, and if it gives you the capability to hire more people so that you can grow your business. If you want to be stuck in that space, don't do anything. Stop watching this right now. Right. Stop, honestly, stop watching this right now. But if you want to scale your business, if you want to move towards the 6 figures and 7 figures that all these amazing entrepreneurs on the internet keep talking about, you need to work on your mindset around money, and you need to get rid of that sticky, yucky feeling that you feel around money. Right. Because this is a huge point of stress, and I'll go into it later on. But Cyndi, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the things that I see with a lot of entrepreneurs that are just starting out is
Hmm.
they're not sure what to charge. And so they start off really, really small because they're like, well, I'm just going to charge this because I want clients.
Hmm.
But what you're not realizing is the value and the time and the money and the effort that you put into educating yourself is worth so much more. And while you can't just go and slap a price sticker of that of, 100 grand on it, that's going to be a tough sell. I mean, you got to have a lot of backing to sell that.
Hmm.
But what you can do is you can start the process of doing market research for yourself, check out other coaches or people in your industry and what they're charging, get some feedback from people and that you talk to about pricing of what would they be willing to pay, what would they expect to pay, but ask for what your value is. Don't shortchange yourself because you're worried that you're not going to get a client, because I will promise you, you will attract the people you are meant to attract, and your program will attract the people it's meant to attract. And people, when they find value in what you are giving value in, they will
Hmm.
pay the price. They will pay what you ask for because once you start building that clientele, they're going to be telling other people, they're going to give you testimonies, and you're going to start having backing. So as you grow, your price can grow. There is nothing wrong with starting a beta program for anything that you're doing and offering a discounted price. Absolutely not. You're trying to get people to test to proof what you're doing, and that's so important. But definitely never undervalue what you do, because it is worth much, much more than what we often think it's worth.
Mm, I love that a lot. And yeah, I kind of want to touch up on what you were saying. I lost my chain of thought. Oh, I had something really dope to say here. I was like, what was I gonna say? Um, but yeah, I feel like it is really important to have people realize that offering a discount. Oh yeah, I got it. Okay, okay, there we go. Awesome. So you mentioned how a lot of people tend to undervalue themselves and undercharge themselves. And I just want to say, okay, think of it like this cup that you have that's constantly being filled by the universe, the source, Allah, Krishna, or whoever you want to kind of think of. Even you constantly studying up and learning as you're investing in yourself and growing constantly, that is filling up your cup, right? And you are giving this cup away because you're giving away the liquid from the cup because you are an amazing person. You are an entrepreneur because you have something you want to give that is calling to you from the soul and from every aspect of your being, that you need to do this because
Mhm.
I don't see anyone else doing this and I want you to do this. And I'm pretty sure there are so many others who are looking for something like this, whether it's a product or whether it's a service. So you are constantly giving away, but the more you undervalue yourself, the more you undercharge yourself, you are constantly giving, but this cup gets empty and you're not filling it up because you don't have any time, because you're giving too much away to too many people without receiving anything back. And the thing is, while this is very comfortable, this is very amazing in the beginning because you have so many clients right now, you're doing so much, it will turn your entire company or the concept that you're going with, your mindset, bitter. Because I've seen this happen, right? A lot of freelancers start to get bitter about the work they're doing because they know deep down that they should be getting paid more, that the amount of time they're putting, the amount of resources they're putting, the amount of energy, the amount of effort they're putting is worth so much more than what they're receiving back. And so that neglect, that gap can start to eat away at their soul and make them feel like, oh, this is pissing me off because I have to pay for the services I use. I have to pay for resources. I have to pay for all these different things, but I don't have any money. So I'm giving away from my pocket while I'm helping these people. Right? It's almost in the negative. And that starts to stress you out to the point where honestly this can lead to burnout. And I'm not just saying that as I am a burnout coach, so I have to like
Yeah.
put myself in there everywhere. The reason why I'm doing this is to create awareness, and that can lead to burnout because you're stressing out about it. If you continue doing it for a pretty long time, that's all burnout is. It's stress that you haven't managed properly for a pretty long time,
Yeah.
right? So if you continue undervaluing, if you continue undercharging yourself, you are going to stress out. However, Cindy, I loved the thing that you mentioned: beta test, have proof, and then build up on that. Build up. That's a very crucial word that you used, and I loved it. It's just the fact that start small, but grow. Don't be stuck there. So yeah, what are some practices that you mention to your clients when it comes to helping them better their mindset? Like what practices do you ask them to do to kind of like reprogram their mind almost slowly but surely around the fact that they can earn what they want to earn?
Yeah, so one of the first things that we have to start with is, what are your thoughts around money?
Mm.
What are the things that come up for you? What are the blocks that you have around money? For instance, someone that struggles with just even looking at their finances, just looking at their bank account. I always recommend that, okay, if you're going to take baby steps to do this, start with just looking at your, balance. And that's all you look at. You don't look at what you spent. You don't look at the charges. You just look at your balance. Go, okay,
Mm,
I know exactly what I have in the bank right now. I'm
mm,
okay. I know exactly where I'm at. When you start taking the baby steps to move into getting yourself comfortable with, looking at your finances or digging into them further, it'll start to become more of a habit and more natural for you to
mm,
do that, because it can be scary at first to take those initial first steps. Sometimes I have clients that struggle to turn in the paperwork that I need because I have to look at all their finances. That's probably the scariest part of doing it, especially if you're someone that struggles with looking at your finances. And so sometimes we have to talk around what exactly is stopping you, what is the fear there. And there are journal tactics that you can take to kind of work through your process and your thoughts and the emotions that are going on through that. That's probably the biggest thing, is just being aware of what is taking place and what is stopping you at that moment, and start going, okay, this is what's coming up for me, and start writing out that and try and find what else is true in that. What is the other flip side truth to that, not just what you're telling yourself or what you're hearing yourself say, but looking at the other side of the script of what actually could be true. And
mm.
so working through things like that and working through your thought process, it's very similar. There's so much similarities to most coaching. You're going to find that wealth, health, and mind, they're all tied together with how they kind of approach everything. So as you master one area, you can really
Mm,
start to apply these tactics in other areas, which is the most beautiful part about doing these things and talking to different coaches and working with them, is there's so much similarity in working through different parts of your life. And these are things that you can translate into other parts. So that's why you'll hear some similarities with what she says and I say with how we talk about things, because
mm.
it's very similar approaches to how we kind of move through some of the thought processes.
Yeah, I love that a lot. What would your advice be for a freelancer or for a solopreneur who's just starting out right now? To kind of have, what systems would you say that they should have as they're beginning out? What should they look at right now so that they are kind of set up for the future they want to create?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is, I think a lot of times we come in with the idea of what we think our clients want, what
Hmm.
they need, and that may not always be the case. I had to learn that through my own process of, I had my idea of the things that I wanted to coach on and what I thought would be most relevant. And I had to do a lot of market research to go, okay, that's not everything that people are asking for. They're wanting this, and this. So I had to learn how to, kind of customize my plan by doing a lot of market research. But I think the other thing that I've learned too is, setting up things where you are organizing yourself. I come from a corporate background, leaving that to become an entrepreneur. And
Mm,
I went into shell shock mode because I had a very strict schedule. I had, everything laid out for me. I knew what my day was going to be like. And I think one of the biggest lessons I learned was how to manage my time and my energy differently being an entrepreneur, because that's where I hear a lot from entrepreneurs is the biggest hang up is how to organize your time and how to
mm,
organize your day, because you can have all the systems, all of the tactics, all of the clients you want, but if you don't know how to manage your day, you never have enough time to get
mm,
to all of them. And one thing that I would encourage people to do is really spend time trying different things to
mm.
find what works and what connects with for you the most, because there is not a one size fits all when it comes to
Mm.
those types of systems.
I love that. Yeah. And I definitely hear you with the fact that, you need to have like a bit of trial and error going on in there, mostly because, as you said, no one size doesn't fit all. And I feel that because I am someone who has very specific ways of dealing with my finances and very specific ways of how I do the work that I do. And so if someone tells me to do this and that is the only sole solution, I'm just like, I'm feeling a bit weird about, like, this doesn't seem like the right fit. So definitely try out a lot of things and
Yeah.
um go ahead. I feel like it all begins with sitting down with yourself. I know that as an entrepreneur, all you want to do is just rush into things, like go 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 go, like we just quit our job, so we have to jump into it and earn as much money as possible. And I have so many clients that we jump and jump and jump and we don't stop. But honestly, before you start, sit down. And even if you have started, you are midway through the process, sit down, take a day's break, and think about this. Think about money, think about where your money story originates from, what kind of belief systems you have around it, what are some of your limiting beliefs that are almost like, don't go, don't do this, don't turn, don't do this. See if you self sabotage a lot, which I did a lot. Figure out what works better for you. I feel like this is a system that I do with all of my clients, no matter where they come from, is honestly help them understand the story that has been going on in their mind for a pretty long time, because it is important and we can't dismiss it. But then learn to say thank you. But you are no longer in service for me. You might have been in service for me back then, but not anymore. So I
Mm.
want to let you go and create a new story. And your body will willingly let it go. Your body will honestly willingly let that practice, that story go. The more you try to ignore it, the more louder it will shout, and the more you'll feel like, I am trying to push it aside. Why is it not going away? Give gratitude because it once served you, but know that there is something new that needs to take the place inside your mind right now, a new story that you have to create. That will help you kind of create space for new habits, to kind of something that you can cultivate, so that you don't slip back into the old habits of, um I don't want to charge so much, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. You have all these I don't want us, and I shouldn't, and I couldn't dares that will pop up, and they will pop up. And the story, this practice is not easy. This is a practice that you have to do on the daily, because it's so very hard to slip back. It's so easy, honestly, so easy to slip back into those old habits and practices. So practice it on the daily. Figure out two changes that you can make in your life, right? Don't jump in and try to do 100 things at the same time. You'll
Mm-mm.
get overwhelmed and you will be like, I'm not doing this anymore. This is not it. This was not what I was promised when I was getting into it. Start with two things, build on it, grow on it, and then start to add a few more things with the trial and error method. But start with two small things, right? If you have a thought process of, I can't charge this much, Cindy, what would your idea or mindset be around, let's do a basic role play if you're all right with it,
Sure.
right? So you can be my coach and I'm just coming up to you and I'm like, hey Cindy, I'm a burnout coach and I help people. I take them through a 7-step process that helps them to go from being burnt out to a place where they are thriving. And I want to charge $2,000 for it, but I don't feel like I can charge it. Like I
Mhm.
don't I don't know if people will honestly buy it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So one of the first things that I would recommend is, one, look at other coaches that are doing what you do. Find
Mhm.
out and have conversations with them. Find out what they're charging. What is
Mhm.
their package entail? Maybe they're charging 2 grand, but it's for 6 months and you're
Mhm.
charging for only 3 months. What does
Mhm.
that look like? Or maybe they're only charging for a month and they're doing 2 grand. So you want to kind of get a feel for that.
Mhm.
Two, talk to potential clients, potential people that are interested in what you do. Find out what their feedback would be on what they would pay if they got this type of package. What would that mean for them?
Mhm.
And two, start asking yourself, how much time did it take you to learn that? What did it
Mhm.
involve for you to become who you are? How much did you invest to do that? And what time are you willing to invest? And what is the value of that time? So when you start breaking down what's out in the market today, what your potential market is willing to pay, and the value that you've already put into yourself to do that, you can start to map out what your pricing is going to be from there and start
Mm.
really understanding where you want to go with that. But also, you can do testing package pricing. If you're going to do betas, test a package price out. If everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy, maybe it's a little low, maybe it's right. But you can get some feedback and do some discovery in
Mm.
that process. But you can do a few different tactics to kind of feel out what's going to make the most sense for what you do.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And honestly, I love that. I feel like that is so crucial. No matter where you're starting out, is to make sure that you are doing your research. Because again, like I experienced, I had like I had a spectrum, right? Like I had people who would be willing to pay what $10,000. I had people who were willing to pay 1,500 very easily, right? Like they were like,
Mhm.
I'll pay you. I don't mind. And that moment where they accepted so easily, as like, maybe I should charge just a bit more so that I can give them a bit of stretch. Because at the end of the day, we also have this very weird money psychology. So like how we have, like, if you have two products and one is at a
Mhm.
very low price point and one is at a very high price point, we are almost subconsciously inclined to buy the one that is more costly, because we're like, I mean, if it's the same product, why are they selling it for this low?
Yeah.
That means they don't have the quality, they don't have the resources. So I should go for the pricier one, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, there are so many things that you can get into. My personal advice would be, honestly, sit down and have a conversation. I have had one mentor tell me this, and they were like, sit down and have a conversation with your family and with your friends and your family, inside your family. If you are like me, who has this generational aspect of money where we should just have enough, have a conversation and see if this is something that is being reflected within the generation inside, like you are in, at a generation higher, at a generation higher, and if this has been something that has been coming down to you, almost being passed down to you. And then that will help you realize that it's not all you. Like, your product is good, your service is good. It's not about your product and service, it's about you as an individual that are facing. It's not whether my product is or whether my service is worth it, it's whether I am worth it as an individual to charge this much, right?
Yeah.
So when you realize that, when that kind of realization sinks in for you, drops in, you realize that, oh wait, I'm basically sucker punching my product or service right now, because I don't feel confident enough to charge, because I feel like I am not worth it. Is my product or is my service worth it though? Is
Mhm.
this something that can help people? So by unintentionally lowering my prices, am I hurting the people who will possibly buy the product or service in the future? Right? You need to think of all these things, and this is heavy work, I'm not gonna lie, which is exactly why you need to take a break and think about this right in the beginning, or wherever you are, think about this right now and see what impact your pricing is creating on others. And if you can honestly separate yourself, that will give you the potential to realize whether it is the product that you're worried about being at a lower price point, or whether it is you who's worried about it. Because if it's a product or a service, you can invest on the product and service to kind of build it up a bit more so that it's at a value that people are more excited to buy it. If it is you, then you can invest in yourself by getting coaching, by getting mentors, by having people who can support you, by joining courses and programs and doing all the amazing stuff that we have in the world right now. So if you kind of separate it, you can focus more on the aspect of where is the problem coming from. Is it
Yeah.
me or is it my product or service? And that will help you realize where you need to focus more on in the coming days if you want to scale up your business.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that, if you're someone that struggles with your price and you're really worried about being able to touch more people, one of the best ways to offer a lower priced option for those that can't afford your services but really want your services is to come up with a group coaching or a course. That way you can touch more people. You can offer it at a lower rate, because if you say, I'm going to have a group coach of 10 people, you charge 300 per person. That's a deal for them. And you just made $3,000 versus your 2,000 for one person. So you
Mm,
get to touch more people. So you can really look at how you present your packaging in
mm,
different ways, and that aligns with who you are and what you want to offer.
mhm.
I think that's really important in that process too.
Yeah. And one more thing that I'd like to add is something that if you are coaches, if the people who are listening to this webinar right now are coaches or service providers in general, a lot of times we have this urge of serving everyone, being there to
Mhm.
support everyone, because at one point of time we were one of the people at the lower most rung of it, and now we are at a higher space, higher position almost. So we have the deep calling to service and help as many people as possible, right? But think of it like this is something that my coach once again told me, and he's Preston Smiles. If you want to check him out, he's dope as hell, so check him out. But he told this to me. He was like, if you charge a higher price point, let's say you charge $4,000 for your coaching program, you get two people a month, that's $8,000. That's more than enough for you to kind of make sure that your family is all right, everything's settled in, and then you have like a lot of money that you can spend on yourself and invest on yourself and have enough time, because you're just working with two clients. That's like how much, 2 hours a week, 8 hours a month. That's all you're spending. You have so much of the time where you can then create services and programs. I'm sorry, my dog is very vocal. She's like, yes, I hear you and I support you. um but what you can do is now you have enough resources to help the people you want to help, that are at a price point where they can't afford you right now.
Mhm.
You can then create services without there being that bitter feeling that I was talking about earlier, that gap almost of, oh my god, this is not helping me. What, like, I want to help them but I'm feeling bad about it and I'm feeling stressed out about it.
Yeah.
When you are, and so he says this, right, like, I give from the overflow of my cup, right? His cup is filled all the time. He gives from the overflow. That means that he has no problem giving as much as he wants to
Mhm.
and not having any stress around it. And that is so much more important than always trying to give away and away and away and away till it eats away at your soul. So yeah, honestly, think of it like this: the higher you charge, the more opportunities you're creating for the people who can't afford you right now, because the investment that you are receiving from other people, and honestly, let's stop thinking about this as them paying you money. They are investing in themselves,
Mhm.
right?
100%.
They are investing in themselves. The money is not for you. That money is not for you. That money is for themselves to grow and to evolve. And the more you detach from that feeling of, oh my god, they're putting so much, they're paying me so much, I need to be able to do everything in the world to make sure that they get what they have to receive from this. When that much investment comes your way, you can then very easily give away bits and pieces of it to the people who can't afford your high prices right now, and still serve them but not feel
Mhm.
bad about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whew, that is a wonderful
I
session.
think we shared a lot of really good information about, just how to kind of flow through the mindset and understanding kind of where things start. And, even from the entrepreneur perspective, I think the thing that can happen when we first get started in our business is we can even burn out in our own businesses pretty quickly if we're not careful.
Mm,
And so, just I think taking a step back and remembering that, you are someone that needs time off. You're someone that needs rest. You're someone that needs a break. You're someone that needs quality time. I am personally learning how to incorporate fun time into my life because
Yeah.
I am someone that can become a workaholic very, very quickly. So,
Yeah.
just making sure that you find balance in what you do, I think is probably the most important thing
Yeah.
as you kind of navigate through whatever you're going through in life,
Yeah.
because that for me has really helped me to kind of level out with what I'm doing right now. So,
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. And honestly, I want to add up on that is the fact that a lot of people think that them not doing the thing that they love to do is what's causing the burnout. And that is a reality. But there is also the reality that the people who are actually doing the thing they love to do burn out so quickly because there are no boundaries, right? Like there's this obsession of being going, yo, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, because
yes.
it took so much guts. You guys, I applaud you for that. It took so much guts for you to quit your job and do the thing that you want to do in life. So I am aware of the need, of the desire you have of going all in without taking breaks. I'll take break when I succeed, but success is a very, it's a very weird word because there is no set definition to it. Success is ever growing, just like you.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that you have time away, that you are not giving your entirety or to your business. And I know a lot of motivators and speakers who love to talk about going all in and hustle culture are kind of rolling around in their graves. But I need to say this: don't give yourself too much of yourself away for your business. You are not just an entrepreneur, you're so much more than that, and you need to realize that every aspect of you, whether it's the aspect that when working in 9 to 5 they were like, oh, I want to spend more time with my family, I want to go on more vacations,
Mhm.
I want to, I want to paint again, I want to sing again, I want to learn dancing again, all these things that we wanted to do. Don't let go of those thoughts, because they were the motivators that encouraged you to get into your business. So look back at that, make sure to take breaks like Cyndi said, because yeah, you can burn out very quickly, especially if you're doing something that you love, because there are no boundaries or limitations that we tend to place on ourselves when we are doing something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it was a pleasure to be able to talk through this with you and
For
to
sure.
share this with your audience, because I think it's such an important topic to talk about. Because when we think about how we grew up, we were taught never to talk about religion, politics, sex, or money. And now we
Mm-hmm.
talk about religion, politics, and sex, but we
Sex.
still don't talk about
Talk
money.
about money. We do
So,
not.
make it an open dialogue to talk about money, because I think, the minute we start shifting that conversation is the moment we start empowering other people to rise up from where they
Yeah.
are and become stronger in their financial situation. And I
Mm.
think you can help more people with that,
Mm.
and in a very positive way.
Thank you so much. And, likewise, honestly, having gone through it personally, I know the fact that having someone who can guide you with money, you don't have to take 2 3 years to figure this stuff out. When you have a coach who can take you through that in a matter of months, much less weeks, right? So reach out to people. I feel like reach out to Cyndi. I know you work specifically with couples, Cyndi, but do you offer anything for entrepreneurs, freelancers, anyone who's starting out right now? Do you offer any kind of service or something like that that can help support them, so that anyone watching this, whether it's from your audience or mine, gets a reminder that you exist?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been working with a lot of entrepreneurs lately, especially in the early stages of their business, trying to understand how to separate personal from business, and how to get to that phase, and also how to kind of reverse engineer their finances, so they know what kind of income they actually need to bring in. So I do work with entrepreneurs on doing that part of it. I will tell you, I do the personal side. I do not do any of the business side. So if you need business support, that's going to be CPAs, accountants, tax people, not me. But if it's
Yeah.
just the starting point where you're trying to figure out some goals and trying to figure out where you want to go, I can absolutely help you out with that process. And I can definitely help you out with the personal side, because it really starts with getting our personal in order for our business to succeed.
Yay, there we go. I love it though. I honestly appreciate the work that you're doing, Cyndi, because yeah, like I said, I needed it back then. I was just like, I was a mess. I was like, what is happening? I can charge in dollars. I can charge so much. And now I'm like, bruh, I should be charging more. I put in so much effort. I should honestly be charging more for the work that I'm doing. So yeah, I hear you. And I honestly implore anyone watching this, whenever you watch it, if it's like, if you're watching the replay of this, so you're watching it again and again, please know that Cyndi exists and you can reach out to her for this stuff, because the passion that she has, yeah, she will definitely help you through this for the business side of it. So I'm sorry, the personal side. I'm
Yeah, the
sorry, the
personal
personal
side.
side. I
Yes.
was like, yeah, but yeah. I'd love to kind of let people know that I exist as well. So if you're burning out, or if you find yourself in under a lot of stress or duress, stress that you are not able to manage, please feel free to reach out to me. Cyndi was mentioning about time management, something that a lot of people go through. So you can reach out to me, and I have this ebook. It's a free ebook. So honestly, it's not even a lot, you guys. Just reach out to me and I will send you that, just let me know that, hey, I'm coming over from the money mindset workshop webinar that you did, and I want to I want to get a copy of the ebook you were speaking about on how to kind of overcome being stressed out as a solopreneur. There is a tool that I personally use for managing my own time. It is something that I created based on a lot of other things that already exist on the internet, but I created it so that it better suits me. I can share that with you. So yeah, I'd be more than happy to do that. Reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you and serve you in any way possible. As long as it serves both of us, I'm there. Yeah, wonderful. All right, then we'll see you the next time.
All right. Thanks.
Or you can reach out to us. Yeah. Awesome. Woohoo!